Joining me now is Sam Hartmann, the VP of Exploration at F3 Uranium. Good to see you, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and we're good to be on.
All right, so let's just refresh everybody on the F3 story. I remember it very distinctly. We just had the fall mining showcase for Red Cloud in the fall of 22, and I had F3 on my watch list after meeting the CEO, Dev, and interviewing him. Liked what I saw, and then literally a couple of weeks later, the stock exploded because you guys made a big discovery. And fast forwarding to today, I understand you're doing a fair amount of exploration work right now, doing some drilling in various zones, including the JR zone, where you have a mineral resource estimate planned, I believe, for Q4 of this year. So can you get us up to speed on the latest developments?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we look back briefly, we made this discovery. We called it the JR zone in late 2022. Drilling that off has been the focus since then. And then as we sort of got through drilling that thing out, we started incorporating quite a bit more exploration. So, that's where we're at right now. We have essentially finished drilling the JR zone. The resource estimate is coming out for this Q4. I think that we are confident that there's enough drilling and enough confidence, in the modeling that we feel good going ahead with that at this point, right? We did start exploration drilling. We expanded the A1 conductor. We had discovered these new highly anomalous zones like B1 that were sort of the focus for the last year and a half. But really what got us excited, what we were waiting for a long time, was to incorporate a new project that we acquired in 2024. It was called PW, or Patterson West. We incorporated that into the Broach Lake property, which is part of the PLN project. And we got our permits there early this 2025, around February. We started ground geophysics right away, drilling by March, and we sort of got our first sniff there mid-March. Mid-April, we got our first high-grade intercept with hole 205. I think that was about 37,000 counts on the handheld scintillometer. We stepped out from there, and then that's sort of our main drill hole that we've had there so far was hole 217, which was almost 70 meters of radioactivity, right? So what we've identified now is this, what we call the Tetra Zone. It's not linked to the JR zone conductors. It's not another pearl on the necklace, right, as I'd like to say. It's on an adjacent conductor system about 12, 13 kilometers south of JR zone.
Okay. Now, still with Tetra, Red Cloud's head of research, David Talbot, had a research note recently, and he mentioned, and you sort of alluded to it there, that the team discovered the widest and second widest radioactive intervals yet. So can you expand on that a bit?
So the widest and second widest, that's sort of in reference to what we were drilling at JR zone. Those intercepts there were, 20, 25 meters, fairly discrete lens of mineralization at JR zone. Now what we're drilling, it's a lot different. It's a unique geology. We don't have a graphitic structure like we're used to. The mineralization is still structurally hosted, but it's associated with more alteration, right? Rather than a very distinct graphitic structure. So it actually made finding that zone to begin with very difficult. So that's why it was very encouraging for us to, with these first few holes, we have high grade in one hole, 30 meters away, we have 60 meters of radioactivity. So that sort of speaks to, in my view, the size of the system that's potentially in there, right? If you're already getting these very wide intervals, you have high grade. So now the next thing is going to be, we want to get those things together and have, a wide and high grade interval. And I think we're going to get there. Right now, what we're doing is we're doing proper geophysics that's tailor-made for the geological conditions at the Tetra Zone, which are very challenging because the structure that's hosting the deposit is very weakly conductive, versus usually these things are superconductive, right? And it's covered with very conductive mudstone. So you have a very flat-laying, very conductive layer that's sort of masking or covering this weak conductor at depth. And before we want to step out and look for additional zones or really materially expand the Tetra Zone itself, we kind of needed to get a better handle on the strike and the direction and the dip of this conductor. And that's what we're doing right now.
Sam, something else that you and the team did was relog historical data to the point where you were able to extend the strike of mineralization to
Right.
about 1.2 kilometers. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, so what happened there is there was a drill hole, a couple drill holes were drilled in by a junior in 2016. We went and we found that drill core. We relogged those. One of them hadn't been assayed yet, so we sent it off. What we saw there was very strong bleaching and clay alteration at the top of basement. The rocks looked very similar to what we see at Tetra Zone. In our presentation, we actually have a slide that sort of compares Tetra Zone versus this pad 16 hole. And you can sort of see they look very much the same. This hole 1.2 kilometers away, we did assay it, we sent it out. We got 420 some ppm uranium. That was the most anomalous, highest uranium ppm value outside of either Tetra or JR zones. So that kind of tells us that this system, we have these two zones, this, the Tetra Zone and then this newly assayed hole 1.2 kilometers away. First priority is sort of to identify the conductor in between those two zones, 1.2 kilometers, and then expand it on both sides. That's what we're working on right now. But I think just visually and geologically, those holes look similar enough that you can say with some confidence that they're related to the same event.
Now, back to the JR zone and the mineral resource estimate that's planned for Q4 of this year. How significant do you think this will be? What are your expectations, and how significant a milestone is it for the company, do you think, after the initial discovery?
Good question. I think that JR Zone, like I said, we found in 2022. Drill hole number 35 was the discovery hole. We have close to 90 holes that have intersected it. We have fairly tight drilling in there, on the range of 10 to 15 meter spacing. I think what it's going to do is bring F3 sort of into a different category of explorer, where now you do have a resource to back your story. And I think that will set us apart from a lot of, from just the junior exploration crowd to someone with a resource estimate. And the timing for it is perfect because as that's coming out, we're already drilling off the next thing at Tetra Zone.
Now, on the financial side, Sam, the company recently raised $17 million. I believe that was upsized at least once, and that was through Red Cloud as lead agent and sole book runner. So how would you characterize the cash position right now and also the demand for that offering in the marketplace?
Well, I mean, that all happened fast and furious. I think the demand was definitely there, as you can see from the upsizings. From a cash position, that'll bring us probably close to 30 million cash in the bank. And, the flow through portions of that will sustain exploration through 2026 is what we're planning for.
All right. And lastly here, I'm just wondering how you would summarize the investment case, because it's often tricky to keep investors interested. You made the big discovery in late 22, stock shot higher, and then after a while it started consolidating, and it's come down somewhat since then. So what are the catalysts, do you think? I mean, the MRE obviously, but to keep investors interested in the F3 story.
I think that you definitely have investor, at some point you get investor fatigue. The investors sort of chase the newest story, right? F3 was 2022. And then there's been some other recent discoveries since then elsewhere that the crowd has moved to. In the meantime, we have had some dilution, obviously, because we've been drilling a lot, which we had to do. That's what led to Tetra Zone, right? I think that now F3 is in a spot where we do have a new discovery. We're about to hit it fairly hard. And what we're looking for is sort of to bring that crowd back and put F3 and Tetra Zone back in the spotlight.
All right. Very interesting. We'll be following. Thanks for your time today, Sam.
Thanks, Mark.
That's Sam Hartmann, VP of Exploration at F3 Uranium. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.